Hello and welcome to this afternoon taste challenge because Sunday, I think it's too tight of a schedule to do it. So I'll just double up today and then forget Sunday. Okay, well, I was going to start at the bottom of the hour, but I was a little bit stunned because I just saw the news that Burt Reynolds died. So it was kind of disoriented a little bit. All right, anyway, T.W. Samuels, Kentucky Blended Whiskey, 80 proof, aged 3 years. Introduced in 1844, if you can believe it or not. But it's the truth. That's when the T.W. Samuels trademark was acquired. Versus Albertsons American Blended Whiskey. It doesn't say Kentucky Blended, it says American. 80 proof, aged at least 4 years. Okay. Bottled in Louisville, Kentucky, but it does not say, it says matured in American oak, but nowhere on the bottle does it say it's distilled in Kentucky. Nope, it simply says bottled. If you see that, a bottle of whiskey says American, but it doesn't say distilled in a state, just bottled in a particular state. That is a very strong bit of evidence that will indicate that it is almost certainly distilled in Lawrenceburg, Indiana, at Midwest Grain Products, who distills so many whiskeys, gins, brandy, whiskey and gin and vodka, and does it for mass production and craft whiskey. A lot of your craft whiskeys will very cleverly say bottled in Quaintville, Kentucky, but it won't say distilled in Quaintville, Kentucky. No, because it isn't. It's just simply bottled there, and it's produced by a big shot company in Indiana. Oh, yes, that's the dirty little secret of craft, of many, I don't know about most, but maybe most craft whiskeys. Okay, well, we're not doing anything that's remotely related to craft, quasi-craft, or scintilla of craft. No, today is simply blended whiskey versus blended whiskey, cheap versus even cheaper.
This town.
Yeah. Forgot to mute that, sorry. So I did get the last one correct. Because on the last examination, I did T.W. Samuels versus Kentucky Gold. Never believed that I'm a fan of either. But I was able to tell them apart. And Kentucky is, T.W. Samuels is pretty dang dull, all right? Let's admit that. It does have some character, but it's pretty dang dull. But as dull as it is, it can't even match the blandness of Kentucky Gold. So if you're looking for a really inexpensive and even more so bland and dull and tasteless whiskey, get Kentucky Gold. It's almost worth buying just to be shocked by how bland it could actually be. John and Illy says, good afternoon, Ron. Good afternoon to you, John and Illy. I hope you're doing well. I did go to Jefferson Parish today, and I went to see my friend David. He's doing better, getting back on track, I think. And we did some beer reviews. One was aborted. I erased the videos. He said, erase that. That's no good. And I agreed eventually, yeah. It was Old Milwaukee. And when I had first bought the 6-pack, it tasted strange, like not quite like Old Milwaukee I remembered, so it's kind of discombobulating me. Couldn't figure it out. I knew it was best by October 23rd. So we started doing the review today at his house, and I looked underneath the can and my jaw dropped. He said, I noticed your face. I was like, it was best by October 23rd, 2017. Inexcusable. If you think a grocery store or a beer outlet or a distributor is going to check dates, you are living in a fantasy world. They are not. They don't care. I don't care what propaganda they promote on their websites. They don't do it. They're not going to ensure quality. So buyer beware. They're both gold. These look similar, very similar. A lighter shade of gold, but not light gold, just a lighter shade. So that was a tragedy, you know, because I brought the beer and I was curious to see what he was going to say about Old Milwaukee, and he was interested in Old Milwaukee, and then he tasted it. He said, "Oh, this is terrible." He said, "And I can't review a beer if I know it's out of date. It's just influencing me." And I agreed. And it was just, we dumped it out. I said, "Well, that was $1 down the drain plus tax." Shows you how popular this stuff is. They sell about probably 1 6-pack a year. So it goes stale and it doesn't sell. But nonetheless, then, you know, the distributor should get rid of it. Don't let me buy it. I love Old Milwaukee. I'm so glad it's popular around here in Georgia. It rotates well, so the dates are usually very fresh. Well, believe me, it does nothing here. So the dates are horrible. And I just saw October 23rd, and I was thinking, you know, it's okay. But then when I looked this morning, I saw 2017. I was just so dismayed. So then he said, "Well, scratch that. What do you want to do next?" I said, "Well, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me, you know." He said, "What about this?" And he didn't know. He didn't know what to review. So we found, I said, "What about this beer?" "Oh, you don't want to review that," he says. "That's Founder's Green Zebra. That's horrible. It's a goza. I hate those stinking things." I said, "Well, I never had it." So I took it out the refrigerator. He said, "You really want to review it?" I said, "Well, why not?" You know, and the date was reasonable. It wasn't good, but it was from April. But it was reasonable. I said, "Well, yeah, let's check it out." And no, I mean, I didn't actually like it in the sense that I would want to drink it. But I thought it was for the style, a beer made with sea salt and watermelon, not watermelon flavor, but actual watermelon. Yeah, I mean, it was okay. It was kind of like those Seagram's Escapes, which use fake flavors, but it wasn't that different. But I gave it an A-, and he was appalled because he said it was just bad. He hated it. I mean, he just hated it. You know, he just said it's terrible. He bought a 6-pack. He was giving cans away to people. So he was just like going off, screaming and hollering in the video about Founders. They do terrible work. They put out garbage beer. What happened to them? They used to make such good beer. He's just going on and on. I said, well, and then he was just stunned that I gave it an A-. He couldn't believe it, you know. I said, I don't mean an A- for me, an A- in the style, you know. I enjoy watching the Nikka whiskey review with special appearance by Suntory. I look forward to trying some Japanese whiskey soon. Yeah, that was a really interesting video, the Nikka from the barrel. So then I said, well, you know, it turned out to be like we reviewed a few ounces of the Old Milwaukee and dumped it out, and I deleted the video. And then we shared a 12-ounce can of the Green Zebra. And then he said, well, how about this one? Oh, the stovepipe can of 1050 barrel aged, you know, the 12.9 whatever percent imperial stout. I said, David, oh no, let's review it. So that hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, oh Lord, I took a nap before I ate lunch. I was so sleepy. So that thing it's just a bomb, you know. It's like setting off a bomb. Naturally, it was an A. I said A+. He thought it was world class. He said, no, this is world class. This is beyond an A+. It's above 100. And it's hard to argue that, really. I mean, it's such a great beer. Great. Awesome. He bought it. He paid $10 for that can. I would never do that. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. He did it, but I'm not doing it. I did that. I've been there. I've done that. You know, I did it in the past. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm sorry. I'm just not. Then he wanted to go to, let's go to Martin Wine Cellar and Door Next. I went to Door Next first. I was trying to like recover, you know, as best I could. And he drove, and then so I was like, whoa. So we were looking at the whiskey, the Scotch, and the regular whiskey. And I just was shocked. I looked on the shelf. I thought, no, the tag's mixed up. It can't be right, you know. But it was there. There it was. Black Velvet 8-year age. You know, the Black Velvet Reserve. For $10.99, I said, that can't be right. $10.99. Everybody else got it $16.99. The normal price. No, no. That was the sales tag. $10.99 until October or something. I couldn't believe it. I said, it's probably going to ring up wrong. It's kind of a mistake. But we were looking at beer. I was showing him different beers. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Then he picked out a German beer, and then he got something else. I can't remember what else he bought. Something. I don't know. Oh, a barley wine, and then a black beer from Germany. But it rang up $10.99, you know, so I said, well, there you go. And then we went to Martin Wine Cellar. It was another stunning event there because they had Seagram 7 Crown for $7.99 on a closeout, I guess. Why would you ever sell it that cheap? It's like half price. Oh, I couldn't believe it. $7.99. I didn't buy any, but I just said, look. He said, I'm buying it. And then later I said, why'd you buy that? He said, oh, well, you know, if somebody comes to my house that doesn't care about whiskey, but they want something to drink, I'll just let them have that. And then they'll be satisfied, and I won't put out my good stuff. So that sounds like a reasonable idea, because if they don't care anyway, they'd be delighted to have it. He doesn't dislike 7 Crown, but he doesn't regard it as anything too great, which it ain't. It isn't. But for $7.99, it'd be hard to pass up. All right, time for the taste challenge. I think that the Albertsons will have a slightly higher rye content because of being from Sazerac, but I can't say it's going to be better. They're mostly just going to taste like corn stuff, you know, like corn stuff. Here we go. Oh, this has a really strong corn alcohol burn. It's really strong, and that makes me think it's Albertsons, because that was its calling card. It just like made you jump back. Not in a bad way, but it was just so strong. Woo! Okay. Oh, all right. This morning I did the challenge, right? And I was talking about corn and corn, Fritos corn chips. This one here has this odd thing about it. Yeah, it's corn and Fritos and all those things, but there's a strange, and even more so with the Kentucky Gold, of course, but there's a strange melon, like a cantaloupe thing going. Not so prominent in this, but still there. And I think that's a house style for the Heaven Hill cheapos. You say, well, that's some kind of flaw. Well, it may very well be a flaw, but it's noticeable. But then there was this barrel char I talked about too. This does have that charred barrel. It isn't real prominent, but it's there. Great, he says. Great. I'm glad you got the Black Velvet Reserve. I've been wanting to try it. I plan on purchasing a bottle soon. I know, like if you saw it for $10.99, I know you wouldn't hesitate to buy it, right? Because regular Black Velvet's $9.99. I just was flabbergasted. I mean, I'm looking on, I just say, you know, I was like, so after tax, it was $12. No way I was passing that up. No way, Jose. This doesn't have that weird melon. So my preliminary guess, can't hold me to it because I'm not saying my formal guess, but I think this is the Albertsons and I think this is the Heaven Hill, or the T.W. Samuels, I mean to say, but that's from Heaven Hill. Okay, taste. I'm pretty sure though. I'm pretty sure my preliminary is going to be correct, but it's a taste challenge though. Oh, that is so not wonderful. You say, why are you complaining for $4.99 about? Oh, I didn't say I was complaining. No, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it's not wonderful. If you buy something for $4.99 and it's liquor and it's a regular size bottle, you're not going to complain. I hope you don't, because you would be stupid to do that. But then on the other hand, you probably weren't expecting a whole lot when you bought it. And I was not. I was expecting exactly what I'm getting. And it ain't much. Hey, yeah, but that's the way it goes. Oh, oh no. Oh man, why do we do this? Got to get rid of it. May as well taste challenge it down to the bottom instead of having to actually drink it on its own. See, this way I have an excuse, right? I can say it's for science, you see. It's for consumer preference purposes. Oh, mama. Strange, though. It does have that bread quality, which is making you think pure barley malt, white bread, barley bread. Huh, odd. And even a rye component, which you would think, no, that can't be right with a cheap $4.99. You would think it can't be, but it is. Alex the Beer Master says, what's up, Ron? I'm just doing a taste challenge. Now you might say, well, what's lower shelf than this stuff? The floor, I guess. The tile on the floor would be lower. Maybe somebody has set something. You know, it's possible somebody set something on the floor. I'm not talking about a display. Just something they left on the floor. That could be lower. But honestly, there's nothing lower. I mean, $4.99 is the bottom. Believe me, the bottom. Ooh, yow. Still, I don't know what I'm doing. Still, there is that barrel char. As incredible as that sounds. Well, I think this is the TW Samuels, and I think this is the Albertsons. And let's see about that. Here we go. Oh, it is the Albertsons. Did it! I did it! I did it! I did it! Well, what is that? Like 15 out of the last 16? Something like that. I've gotten them right. 15 out of the last 16. And some of my viewers are more stalkish and weird than me. You know what I mean? They'll say, well, in 2014, you did a video and you said this and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, okay. I don't really know all that about myself, but I don't stalk myself. So I didn't realize that. Nor did I actually care. But, you know, I'm glad you made that point for no particular, you know, no real good reason. But so it's something like that. I did very well. I've done very well in the last 15 or 16 videos. So are these very different from each other? No. They have different bottles, bottle shapes and labels. Same ABV and all that. They're not very different, but they are different. You see, you can be different but not be very different. And they're not even really appreciably different, especially in quality. I mean, which one would I choose if I was in a pinch? Well, I would choose the $4.99 bottle, because if you're looking at this, which is tolerable, and you're looking at this, which is tolerable, and one is $4.99 and the other one is $8.99, I think you don't have to be a genius to figure out which one you would choose. I mean, I would actually choose neither one, you know, but Albertsons wins by default because it's half the price. Hey, Ron, when I open up my Old English 800, do you think I would when I open up my Old English 800, do you think I would enjoy it? You mean? Question mark. Well, I mean, probably if it's the If it's the 5.9%, yes, I think you'll enjoy it a lot. And my friend David was talking about Old E, try to get it right, Old E, okay, Old E 800 today. But if it's the high gravity, yeah, it's a well-made product, but it's just too strong for me. Some people like it. I mean, I have viewers that say, "Oh, well, oh, what are you talking about? I'll drink a whole 40 ounce of OE 800 in one night, no problem. And I'll chase it with a 6-pack of Rolling Rock. You know, oh, get real. You know, grow up, man. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Well, that's fine, man. I can't do it. I can barely tolerate a pint can of the stuff. A pint can I can barely tolerate. You think I'm going to drink a 40 ounce? But on the other hand, the 5.9, the regular old E800, Old English 800, oh, I could drink that like water. It's so smooth. It's so well balanced. It's so delightful. No detriment at all. And that's why my friend David loves it. He just drinks that stuff like, he drinks it like a guy who loves drinking it. Okay. So, yeah, I deleted a lot of what we recorded, but I should have maybe kept it because it was funny, you know, like this, all this rant and raving and yelling and screaming about it. And, but I said, nah. He said, go ahead and delete it. I said, okay. But you'll get a little inkling of it. It was like controversial in a way. It was fun. All right. Anyway. All right. So the next up is, of course, T.W. Samuels, because I got to put it up against everything in its class, is the versus the I think it's Barton. Yeah, it must be Barton. Yeah, it's aged 4 years as opposed to 3. It's similar to the Albertsons, and it's from Sazerac, and it'll have that higher rye content, so it'll probably be noticeable in the difference. Will it taste better? I don't know about all that, but it is $5.99. Keep that in mind. Now the Barton is $5.99. And I'm not going to pay $8.99 for T.W. Samuels, but I do think I could find it for cheaper. But I definitely would never go searching for it. But I think I'll tell them apart. You ever wanted to growl like a monster? Sip this too fast, and you'll do that. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to an extent. And then we'll go through all the rest. Do you hear from Robert about, okay. John Neely said, did you hear from Robert about examining the Canadian Club Classic 12? Yes, he said he would like to do it. So now we're at a point where it's just a matter of pinning down the time frame. So you could throw out some dates, and then I could throw out some dates, and he could throw out some dates. It's going to be a problem, though, because football season is here. And that makes it a much more difficult proposition. And so I really don't want to, we'll just have to try to fit it in. Okay. So yeah, I do believe we'll be able to do it, but it could be a challenge. That's all I'm going to say. It could be a challenge. Alex said, hey, Ron, did you ever talk to John from Zone 1 Beer Club? No, I never talked to him. Why? He doesn't have that club anymore. It's like dead. Kaput. He does woodworking. That's his job. He like does woodworking. But yeah, you know, you could say Zone 1 is a thing of the past. These things happen. They're here today and gone tomorrow. Think about how many beer channels have come today and gone tomorrow. It's a lot. It's happened. It happens all the time, and it's upsetting. Because you say, oh, I love this channel, and you get all into it, you love watching it, and then it's gone, and it never returns. But I've gotten jaded about it, you know, like I'm used to it now. I just know it's going to happen. So I get attached to channels, but not too attached, because I just know what is likely to occur. Thanks for watching this video production of T.W. Samuel's Kentucky Blended Whiskey versus Albertsons American Blended Whiskey. Boy, well, eventually we'll climb the ladder, but it's going to take a while because I got a lot of the lower, let's say I don't want to use those terms, value priced items to explore. Okay, I have quite a few more value price items to explore, but I have been throwing in some quality stuff. The Canadian Club 12 year that Johnny LA bought, the Seagram's VO Gold, which I bought. Now I got the Black Velvet 12 year, 8 year, excuse me, 8 year, and then I had which I bought the Buchanan's 12 year. So I have been throwing in some little quality items, right? It's not all just low grade, but it is mostly, I have to admit, so far. But we're climbing up. We were talking about, wait a minute. David and I were talking about Johnny Walker Blue Label on this very day. He said he would go in half and half. Now, once we do Johnny Walker Blue Label, then no one can ever say you only do the cheap stuff. That'll solve that. I don't know why the West Flaterian 12 wouldn't have solved that argument, though. For all the people that say you only do the cheap stuff, well, where were you when I bought the West Flaterian 12 for $85 a six-pack? Notice, let's practice that again. $85 a six-pack. Where were you when I bought that? If I only buy the cheap stuff now, well, I mean, I knew I had bought that years ago. I mean, that's why I never really paid any mind to people saying that, because it was so ridiculous that it was almost worth not even responding to. Thanks for watching the video production.